The hot topic obviously is OSHA is trying to update some standards, and there's a lot of them. I think that's probably the thing that's getting everybody's attention. You know, if this was one or two things, it'd probably be you know, business as usual, but it's a large order, and it hasn't been updated since 1980, I believe. And so obviously, we were talking 44 years, you know, in a business that dangerous, our materials that burn has changed, the vehicles that we extricate on have changed. There's a lot of things that have changed, so it does make sense that it needs to be updated to some degree. A lot of the things I think that's getting the attention of the smaller towns and your volunteer fire departments are things like the actual putting a limit on the date for bunker gear, maybe 15 years, 10 years. I think they had a 15-year shelf life for a pumper, a fire engine. On the backside of this, what a layman may not know about the fire service world is with our pumpers, we have a yearly pumper service test. So that thing has to perform up to NFPA standards in order for us to keep using it. So even if that truck is 20 years old, as long as it passes a pumper service test, there's really no reason it can't stay in service. And that's just, you know, that's Clint Bowen's opinion, right? But the flip side of that is they're probably not a department's gonna be able to replace that truck 15 years, right? So I think that's probably what's got a lot of the stir going on, is that if all of these proposed regulations go into effect, outside of a healthy municipal department, I don't even know if they could afford everything. So I mean, that's where we're probably at.
Standard on the trucks, 08 is the newest one we have, and that's outside their limit of what you can use, and at $1 million a piece. And we got 7 trucks. All of them's not going to fall in that high category, but 4 or 5 of them will. And that you can't do that, especially on what money we get.
We live off of Act 833 in our fundraisers, and that don't get anywhere close to purchasing a new vehicle by any stretch standard. I mean, granted, I know there's grants out there and everything like that, but you're still, there's a lot, there's only so much money in the grants and stuff like that, and if every department has to try to do grants to replace these rigs, the money's not going to be there for everybody.
It's going to make them harder to get.
Mm-hmm. As in the lines of a full or a paid fire department, I can understand where they have the requirements. Out here in the local communities on a volunteer fire department, the standards shouldn't be the same for us. If you don't have this department here, you're going to have to expect another department from farther out to get here, and if that's the case, by the time said department gets here, when in a structure fire, on the structure side of things, every minute counts. So every minute they're on the drive trying to get here, that much more property is being lost, and more than likely by the time they get here, it's going to be a complete loss.
For sure, a complete loss, yeah. Any other departments an hour away at the best. If, like Eureka Springs, they're an hour away. It's not going to do any good by that point.
Another flip side of that, obviously, is Arkansas is not an OSHA compliant state as far as the fire service is concerned. So really, it doesn't affect us as far as saying it's mandatory and you have to do it. But you obviously don't want to be that guy that, or girl, you know, who doesn't try to follow these mandates or standards, however you like to look at them. So it's really a tough spot for a lot of people, a lot of probably city directors, a lot of county fire departments, a lot of county judges, quorum courts, you know, that have to figure out these funds.
Part of it, insurance, which we dropped to a number 7 in the 5 mile from the department, and that's a big savings on insurance for people, big time.
You get rated 1 to 0, 1 to 9, and then 0's after that, and everybody outside of that 5 miles is at a 0 then, because there is no fire coverage at that point in time. So your insurance rates are going to be that much higher just because you have no coverage at that point in time.
Medical calls is our biggest thing, and them would be gone. Responding to car wrecks would be gone. The storm damage, a lot of times it's not storm damage, it's just a tree blows over in the road, and they actually paid us to go do that now, and for the state and the county. And that'd all be gone, because if the department didn't exist.
The little departments, I mean,
They're critical.
They're critical to keeping the highways, byways, and I mean farms and structures and everything like that. They're a very valuable piece to have, and if they push us out, you're going to have I mean, it's going to look pretty dismal whenever you're in need of help and there's nobody to come help you.
They're in there trimming it right now, and they've got to make it where it works. And so I'm not getting too wound up yet, as far as, worried, I should say, just simply for the fact of they understand, I believe, and they've got enough resources and subject matter experts that they're talking to that they understand if they were to try to do something like this, it would just break, a small department. Like I said, our job's a dangerous job, and I have no doubt that there are things that need to be improved, and we're just going to have to come to that point where we decide what's priority. What gets changed this year, and maybe in a couple of years after we've absorbed that, what gets changed next. But I think that's probably going to be the direction that it ends up going.